Hey, welcome back. So I've been working on a bit of a surprise. You guys are probably wondering, in the springtime we talked all kinds of gardening stuff and then I barely put anything out. Well, I've been working on a couple of projects. One of them you can see behind me, so I figured I'd take you guys through a run through. All right, switch this lens around and I'll show you what we got going on. All right guys, so here we go. Here's a video. So the garden is 28 by 16. We started from scratch this season. This was just lawn. So we've got 2 foot wide by 1 foot wide beds, 1 foot wide pathways, and what we did is we hilled everything up that we dug out of the pathways. Let's see if we can get it here. See how it's hilled up? So what we're doing this way is we're trapping all the rainwater in all of our pathways because they're sunken down and all of our beds are raised. So we've got an entire raised bed of onions all the way up, right? We're doing leeks, those beautiful leeks. And then down there we've got different kinds of peppers. Up here, that's our zucchini. I'll take you for a walk past that after. We have 2.5 beds of potatoes. We're doing Yukon Golds and russets because they're ready at different times of the season. Look at how tall those things are. There's so many potatoes in there. And there's 2 rows right down the center. We planted 2 rows. So you can see down there. So when we harvest, it'll be easier to pull the plants. What we've done is we've created a trellising system for everything that vines and climbs. So you can see the wooden framework for the tomatoes, right? Up there, there's 2 of those. And then you can see the T-posts and all of the trellis netting across here. So what we're gonna do is down the front, all the way around, that's all of our cucumbers. Well, for this side anyways. So the cucumbers are gonna grow all up this trellis netting. We have Boston pickling and national cucumbers here. So those are little ones for our cucumbers or for our dill pickles. And then how we planted this out is everything gets 1 square foot. So we've alternated. We've got bush beans and marigolds. And then each tomato is growing on a different side of the trellis that we created. Those are my tomato spools. So what happens here is the string is pinned to the ground, right? You can see it pinned to the ground, and then you tie it up to the top and you just wrap your tomato around it. See how the tomato string is wrapped around it? It's how they grow in greenhouses. And when the string gets too tight, all I need to do is uncoil another loop off of that. So working down the line, it's literally tomato and tomato and tomato, and in the gaps, we have other things planted. See, we've got some Genovese basil planted here, more basil planted here. Down at the end, we're growing pie pumpkins right here, 2 pie pumpkin plants, and we're gonna pull them through, see them through the fence? And we're going to sprawl those out this way on a fence that we're gonna attach to the corner. So the pie pumpkins will be trellised on a fence. And then we have cucumbers and cantaloupe and melons across here. So the cucumbers, here's the cucumbers. We're gonna trellis those up this trellis netting. These are our Marketmore cucumbers. So these are your general purpose sort of cucumbers. We're gonna trellis those up this trellis netting. And then that is a watermelon, which we're going to pull out through, and we're gonna let the watermelon sprawl out onto the grass out here. As well as there's a cantaloupe right there. That cantaloupe is gonna sprawl out here. And this cucumber is also gonna grow up here. In the second row, so now we're looking at the second row of tomatoes, guys. We're on the second one. What we did is we interplanted onions. See, there's some onions. Whoop. Right here and here. We interplanted onions in the tomato bed in the blank spaces as well as more marigolds. See? Yeah. More onions. We've got Genovese basil down here. And and then we just tried to stick bush beans in whenever we could, right? So we've got bush beans kind of tucked everywhere. So that's our first 2 rows of tomatoes. So this whole row here, those are all of our San Marzano tomatoes. We're going to make spaghetti sauce out of those. And in this row here, we've got our mortgage lifters for great big slicer tomatoes. And in this row here, we're growing Brandywines, Black Krim, Red Reef, and Black Plum tomatoes. And on this side here, as you can see, we're tying them up to stakes. And these things, they're about 11 feet tall, and I've hammered them about 18 inches into the ground. So, and I mean, we've got tomatoes all over the place in here. So like I said, in every off center where we have a blank square, we planted other products in here because we're not wasting space, right? So look, bush beans. Here's more bush beans. These things grow prolific. They're not going to be very tall. So we're using the space. It's pretty tight in here. A little plot of bush beans at the end, right? See, here's our cucumber, training it up the trellis. And then that's our cantaloupe, and it's going to grow out there. We've already pulled it under the fence. Hop over a bed. Whoop, there we go. All right. More cucumbers. These are, I think these are maybe the burpless cucumbers. We've got 4 kinds of cukes growing here, so. And sorry about that, we're on a big road. And over here, we've got 2 acorn squash, and we're doing the same thing. We're pulling the acorn squash through there. Wait. Yeah, we're pulling the acorn squash. That's acorn squash. That's another cucumber. It's not supposed to be going under the fence. So the acorn squash also, we're going to put a 2-foot wide fence running this way, and we're going to trellis the cucumber or the acorn squash on that. Over here beside me, we have everybody's favorite, the cucamelon. So we're just going to grow that right up here. That's why we have this trellis netting set up here. By the end of the summer, this plant is going to be a huge green carpet on this wall right here. It's going to be massive. This bed right here, bed's about 14 feet long, and these are all the carrots. I planted them using my square foot gardening jig, and they're all 2 inches apart. Nice straight rows, right? Look at that. And I'm barely gonna have to do any thinning because we put one or two seeds down each hole. That way we're not wasting seeds because I hate thinning. So we'll just come back when these are a little bit bigger and we'll thin them out. What we've done on the other side, in between the cucamelons, and look at that, my raspberry plant. This thing's gorgeous. And the critters haven't eaten my berries yet. So, yeah, I thought this thing was dead last year, but it's come back to life. Anyways, so what we've done between the beds is we planted parsnip. So we have all little parsnips growing in here, and we did that in a square foot pattern as well. So they're every 2 inches apart. So when these come up and the carrots come up, it's going to be thick, thick, thick. This is my thornless blackberry plant, and I took that from my last place, and we're actually propagating all of the actual roots that we picked up from my last place. We've got more parsnip in here. Here's my black raspberry plant. So if you guys are wondering when your black raspberries are ready, when they're pretty much black in color, that's when you want to eat them. Okay? We have a blank space here. And then we'll turn around to give you guys a better look from the other side. So there's our onion bed, right? If you're wondering what all this stuff is, we had to fertilize the beds because things were just taking a pounding. So, and then here's our pepper bed right here. We've got everything from mild peppers to hot peppers growing here. And we've already got some growing, see? That's a Super Shepherd sweet pepper. We've got jalapenos in here, Tabasco peppers. This is our zucchini bed. There. That's our zucchini bed right here. And we have dark green and golden. And we haven't gotten hit from the cucumber, from the what do you call it? The squash vine borer. They haven't hit us yet. I'm not sure what that is. That might be a leaf miner, but other than that, this isn't bad either. So that's one of the things I wanted to show you. So this is the secret garden. I'm surrounded by apple trees here. They're just loaded. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the apples from here, and we're going to turn them into apple cider vinegar for the animals. And then this, ladies and gentlemen, is our experiment for the year. So as you can see, the homeowner's been using it where they've been throwing out all of their ashes from their fireplace, as well as a bunch of wood chips. They had a tree taken down from out front. So what we did is, when we had the garden tilled, we had to clean out all the clods of grass and sod and stuff, right? So it all went in a pile. That's this pile. So what we did is we had some leftover potatoes. We just threw the potatoes in here, we dug them in, and then they took. So they're literally growing in a homemade hugelkultur mound. And then just to make things even better, we decided we were gonna throw a whole bunch of bush beans in here. So look at this, there's bush beans all through here. See, look at that. Critters have gotten in here and killed one of my potatoes. Oh well, such is life. This thing isn't fenced in or anything, right? So anything we get out of this hugelkultur mound, which is essentially running, that's all the green in the center of the screen. Anything we get out of there is just extra free food, you know. It doesn't cost us any labor. We literally don't water this. It doesn't get taken care of. But that's 2.5 feet worth of material, right? So it's got lots of places where it can get water and mineral content and all the rest of that stuff. So that's our hugelkultur mound. So that's the garden, guys. Just I know you guys were kind of curious why you haven't seen anything from me yet, so here we are. And this is not where we live. This is not our home. This is a secondary location. So we have to split our time up between 3 separate garden spots, which takes up a whole lot of time. So if you guys have any questions about anything I've got going on here, if you have any questions about either of these trellising methods for tomatoes, hit me up. I can give you guys the dimensions for these spools too if you want them. They were really easy. All I did was I cut some wood off a pallet, and I just marked and measured with a little jig and cut all those little triangles out, drilled a hole in the right spot because you need it to balance, right? And wrap the twine around it. So if you guys want some dimensions for that so you guys can make your own, go ahead. I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna get back to tying up these tomatoes to these stakes because we have a massive storm on its way and I got work to do. So thanks for checking me out, guys. Shoot me a comment, like, subscribe, do all the good things, and grow good food, okay? All right, see ya, bye.